Hey everyone, I'm ExitSign250, and in this video I have something pretty cool to show, and that is a fire hydrant. Yep, this is a real fire hydrant. I first wanted to get one and somehow make it function a few years back, and at the time there was no way of me getting a real one, so I decided to build one out of PVC pipes. I've never seen anyone build one out of PVC, and I've also never seen anyone have a homemade one that actually functioned realistically. So I think I was the first to do that. I even made a video about it, and if you care to see it, I'll post it at the end of this video and you can go watch it. So that fire hydrant was alright. It maybe lasted a few weeks, maybe 4 or 5 weeks, and then, I was constantly messing around with it and it just broke down and I had to scrap it. So I was out of luck with the homemade realm, and I decided to look into real fire hydrants. The thing with fire hydrants and collecting them is it is a challenge because you can't just go to Home Depot and buy one. You can't order them offline, and if you do have them, they're very heavy and they're hard to move. And the thing, if you just buy one, it doesn't do anything. It just sits around. To me, that's boring, but someone might think that's nice just to have one. So I began my quest to find a fire hydrant on local buying and selling apps. If I were to get a real one, I wanted a specific brand and model. So a few years looking around, I finally came across the one I wanted, and it was a pretty good deal, and it was close by, so I picked it up. This is what it looked like when I got it. You can see the paint's a little beat up and some of the chains are messed up, so it was time to refurbish. I began by removing the old chains and the old paint, and this is what I got to. Some of the paint was being stubborn, so I just left it. Then I primed it and painted it, and I kept it the same color because this is actually my favorite fire hydrant color scheme, and you can see this is what it looked like. And then I put on new chains and the refurbishing was done. One thing I regret though is if you look at this fire hydrant right now, you can see some of the paint's chipped off. I do regret using spray paint, and if I ever repaint this hydrant, I think I'll use brush on paint. Now it was time to make it mobile, so me and my grandfather built this little cart and we stained it with a waterproof staining, and so that'll protect it from, rotting from constant water exposure, and I think it makes a nice touch on the project itself. We also put these wheel casters on them with brakes so I can easily move it around, and I can break it when I don't want it to move. Lastly, it was time to make the hydrant function, so I put in PVC pipes inside of it, and I was able to engineer a way to make this top operating nut, which when you turn it counterclockwise, it allows water to flow. And I had a few failures, but it worked out in the end, and I'm really proud of it. So this fire hydrant actually is pretty realistic in my opinion. The only thing that isn't realistic is it's not buried in the ground, and it uses a 3/4 inch water supply instead of the real 2.5 inch or 4 inch or 5 inch connections. Now that I've talked about that, let me show you some details. With any fire hydrant, you must have a fire hydrant wrench. This will allow you to remove the caps and to operate it on the top nut. Some people think you can just use a standard pipe wrench and remove them, but the thing with that is you'll actually strip out this pentagon nut. And fire hydrant wrenches, you can see it has a semi-pentagon nut style, and it allows you to easily place on a cap or whatever and remove it. This particular one is a universal or adjustable one, so I can use it with any model of fire hydrant. Now, let's remove this cap and I'll show you what's on the inside. Now, on a normal fire hydrant, you would connect your hose out here or, wherever, and then water would flow here. But since I don't have a huge water main connected to this, on the inside, I have this little 3/4 inch thread. And what this allows me to do is connect any sort of garden hose or garden hose sprayer or anything like that to the fire hydrant, and then when I operate it, water will come out of here to the hose. The two nozzles on the side, if I take those off, have the same thing going on. Up at the top is the bonnet and the operating nut. What the operating nut does is when you turn it, it operates the fire hydrant, allowing water to flow, hence the name. For this fire hydrant, if you open it counterclockwise, water flows, and clockwise shuts it down. Some fire hydrants are the opposite way. It really depends on the model. Looking more at the cart and the wheels, you can see here's the actual cart itself. I really love the stain. I think it really complements the fire hydrant well. And there is the wheel casters right there with brakes, and I don't know how well you can see it, but I do have the brakes on. This fire hydrant is manufactured by the Mueller Company, and they call this the Centurion. I'd have to say this is one of my favorite fire hydrants out there, probably close to their Super Centurion, which is essentially the same fire hydrant just with a few different details. I'm really glad I got this one because I really think this is probably one of the more popular and most recognizable fire hydrants out there. Here is the back of the fire hydrant. So actually, first down here, this is a female garden hose adapter, and this is what I'll connect from the house spigot to this, which allows the fire hydrant to get water. And right here, you can see it says Mueller 4.5 inch, Albertville, Alabama. And this fire hydrant was manufactured in 1987. Now that I've given all the details, let's connect it to water and see what it looks like. Now that we are outside with the water connected, let's go ahead and flow the hydrant. We'll go ahead and remove this side cap, and I'll let the water flow. Okay, that cap is removed. Go ahead and put the hydrant wrench on the bonnet and open it up. There it is. You can see it's clearly flowing. Of course, not the most water pressure in the world, but let's go ahead and shut down the flow. Now there it is. So let's get to the fun part with connecting all of the various adapters and accessories I have. First thing is this. This is a little ring sprinkler, and it'll shoot water out of all these little holes. This made an appearance in my homemade fire hydrant video, so I thought I'd bring it back and connect it to my real hydrant. Let's do it. Okay, this little ring sprinkler's on the opposite cap right here. So let's open it up and see how it flows. Yep, it's making a lot of water here. See, there it is. So this one's pretty basic, as you can see. Still lots of fun though. Now we'll go ahead and shut this one down and we'll try it another one. Next up is this. This is just one of those simple garden hose attachments that you can either have a stream or a spray. And usually I set this one to the spray, and again, this one makes a lot of water too. So I'm thinking we'll put this one on the pumper nozzle. Okay, it's on there. Let's go ahead and open up the fire hydrant. You can see I can adjust the stream however I want. I'm pretty far away from the fire hydrant, yet I'm still actually getting sprayed, so. Alright, so let's shut this one down and do our last sprinkler thing. The last thing I have is this. This is a PVC pipe, pretty standard. It has one of those female hose attachments like the back of this fire hydrant, and at the end of it there's a cap. So what does it do? Well, similar to that ring sprinkler, I have a lot of holes in it, but these holes are a lot smaller and there's a lot of them. So what I'll do is connect it to this nozzle, and it'll stretch all the way back here, and it'll make a long spray. Let's connect it. Something I gotta do is put these cones here so it has a support at the end, because if I leave it dangling, it might damage the threads. Well, there it is. Now, pick up the hydrant wrench and flow it. I'd say this is my favorite one out of all of them because you can see it sprays in just random directions, like this one just shooting straight up. Yeah, there it is. Well, I think that's it with the flowing part of the fire hydrant, and I enjoyed that. Hope you guys like that too. There you have it, everyone. That is my fire hydrant. Let me know what you thought about it. I have to say, this has been a fun project to work on, and hopefully this fire hydrant will come back for some more videos. Well, that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you guys in another video.